The lights are on, the audience is buzzing, you can feel that live taping energy, but the host, the man behind the desk, can't actually show you his guest.
It's a bizarre scene to even imagine.
Right. Picture it. It's just a few days ago, February 2026. Stephen Colbert is on stage at the Ed Sullivan Theater. He's about to introduce Texas Representative James Talarico, but instead of Talarico's face on the screen,
He points to this, like, generic stock photo.
exactly, a royalty-free image, and the caption just says, "Not James Talarico."
It sounds like a joke, like a bit they came up with at the last minute.
It does, but it wasn't a joke at all. It was a legal gag order.
Yeah.
The network lawyers at CBS were so terrified of the government that they literally scrubbed the guest from the broadcast.
So the king of late night isn't just getting canceled, he's being actively silenced.
And he is not the only one. The cameras are rolling, but you could say the mics are being cut. Welcome to StarScope Report.
Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today, we're looking at what feels like a coordinated war on late-night TV.
We're talking about the cancellation of The Late Show, the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel, and these brand new FCC rules that are basically changing what you're allowed to see on TV.
It's a wild story. It's got a billion-dollar merger, a $16 million payment that Colbert called a bribe, and an FCC that seems determined to end political comedy as we know it.
So let's start with that moment, the Talarico incident. Colbert has this interview in the can, ready to go, with James Talarico.
And for anyone who doesn't know, Talarico is a Texas Democrat. He's running for the U.S. Senate.
Having a candidate on a talk show is, it's totally normal. It's been part of the campaign trail for decades.
Oh, absolutely. You go on Kimmel, you go on Colbert. It's just what you do.
But not this time. CBS executives stepped in and blocked it. They would not let it air.
And the reason they gave, the official reason, is something called the equal time rule.
Okay, let's break that down, because on the surface, equal time sounds fair,
It sounds reasonable. If one candidate gets airtime, their opponent should too.
Right. It's meant to stop a network from just becoming a mouthpiece for one party, but there's a huge catch here.
A massive one. Talk shows like Colbert's have been exempt from that rule for years.
Yeah, under something called the bona fide news interview exemption.
Exactly. The government basically said, look, these are comedy shows, but they cover current events, so it counts as news. They're not campaign ads.
If they weren't exempt, the shows would be impossible to produce.
Yeah.
Every time you interview a major candidate, you'd have to give time to every single person running for that office.
Yeah, you'd have candidates polling at 0.5% on for 10 minutes. The show would be unwatchable.
So what changed? Why is CBS suddenly acting like this 20-year-old exemption just vanished?
Well, the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, he issued new guidance in January. And he specifically warned that the FCC is looking to get rid of that bona fide news protection for any show that is, and this is the quote, motivated by partisan purposes.
Motivated by partisan purposes? Who gets to decide that? That sounds incredibly subjective.
That's the whole point. It's a trap. Carr is basically saying if a host has a political opinion, their interviews are no longer news. They're campaigning.
So CBS panicked. They figured if Colbert aired the Talarico interview, the FCC would say, aha, partisan host, and then force them to give equal time to every other candidate.
And the punishment for not complying isn't just a fine. We're talking about risking your actual broadcast license.
So the network censored itself. The threat was enough.
Right. But this is the best part. Colbert goes on air. He explains the whole thing, shows the not James Talarico photo, and then he tells the audience.
He says, the network says I can't give you the URL, but if you go to our YouTube page, you'll find it.
Which is such a massive flex. He's saying you can control the airwaves, but you don't own the internet.
And an interview goes up on YouTube, completely bypassing the FCC. But the FCC chair, Carr, he responded.
Yeah.
He basically said if hosts like Colbert don't like the new rules, they should just leave broadcast TV.
He literally said they can go to a cable channel or a podcast.
It's an eviction notice. But here's the thing. While Colbert is fighting back now, the decision to actually cancel his show was made months ago. And the real reason is tied up in a huge corporate merger and a payout that Colbert himself called a bribe.
Coming up, we'll dig into that $16 million payout that Stephen Colbert called a big fat bribe just 3 days before he got fired. Stick around.
Okay, so let's rewind to July 2025. CBS announces that the Late Show franchise will retire in May of 2026.
Which, to anyone in the industry, was just shocking.
Right. He's been #1 in the ratings for 9 years. You just don't cancel the #1 show. It makes no financial sense.
The official line from CBS was that it was purely financial. But that excuse falls apart pretty quickly when you look at what was happening with their parent company, Paramount.
Paramount was in the middle of this massive $8 billion merger with Skydance Media. And to get the government to approve a deal that big, Skydance had to make some concessions.
And they weren't just financial, they were cultural.
Hmm?
According to reports, Skydance agreed to end all of its DEI or diversity, equity, and inclusion policies.
And even crazier, they agreed to install a conservative ombudsman at CBS to ensure diversity of viewpoints.
Which sounds less like ensuring fairness and more like installing a political watchdog inside the newsroom as a condition of a merger.
It's just unheard of. But there was another problem. Donald Trump was suing CBS for $10 billion over a 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris.
A lawsuit that, most legal experts said had no chance of winning.
None. But CBS didn't fight it in court. Right before the merger news broke, Paramount paid Donald Trump $16 million to settle.
$16 million for a lawsuit they were almost certainly going to win. That raises some eyebrows.
It definitely raised Stephen Colbert's. He went on his show and he just flat out called it a big fat bribe.
He said the quiet part out loud on network television.
He did. And the timing is just undeniable. Colbert calls it a bribe on a Monday. 3 days later, on Thursday, CBS announces his show is canceled.
Wow.
3 days.
It's brutal. It was so blatant that Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders called for investigations into whether it was a quid pro quo. Like, was he fired to get the merger approved?
And Trump's reaction basically confirmed they saw it as a win. He posted, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired."
I remember Jimmy Kimmel's response to that. He posted, "Love you, Stephen, F you and all your Sheldons, CBS."
But Kimmel knew he was next. Trump even said it in his post, "I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next."
And he wasn't wrong. If you're shocked by how much drama is happening behind the scenes of your favorite shows, you should probably hit that subscribe button. We are tracking every single twist in this media war. Because what happened to Kimmel shows how this new FCC strategy works. It's way more insidious than just a direct order.
It's what people are calling the regulatory choke point. So back in September 2025, Jimmy Kimmel makes some jokes about conservative commentator Charlie Kirk.
And the FCC doesn't call ABC or its parent company Disney.
No.
No.
The FCC chair, Brendan Carr, goes on podcasts and says the FCC can do this the easy way or the hard way. He's threatening the local TV stations that air Kimmel's show.
Right, because companies like Nexstar own hundreds of local ABC affiliates. They're the ones with the SCC licenses, and if they lose those, they're out of business.
So Carr threatens their licenses.
Yeah.
And what happens?
It worked instantly. Nexstar announced they wouldn't air Jimmy Kimmel Live anymore. They boycotted their own network show to protect themselves.
Which left ABC with no choice. If the stations won't run your show, you don't have a show. They suspended him indefinitely.
He did come back eventually, but the message was crystal clear. They can choke off a show at the local level.
And it all brings us back to The Late Show. The final episode is scheduled for May 21st. Colbert told GQ recently, "I think we're the first #1 show to ever get canceled."
It's just the end of an era.
Yeah.
The question is, what happens next? Are we just looking at the end of all political comedy on network TV? We'll wrap it up in just a moment.
And that's not even the wildest part. Wait until you hear who Trump claims he made a side deal with for $20 million in free ads.
Okay, so let's just recap this timeline because it's dizzying.
It is. July 2025, Paramount pays Trump $16 million. Days later, Colbert calls it a bribe, and his #1 show gets canceled.
September 2025, Kimmel gets forced off the air after the FCC threatens local stations.
And now, February 2026, CBS is so scared of the FCC, they're censoring interviews with Senate candidates.
And then there's that final detail, the alleged side deal.
Right. Trump claims that the new owner of Paramount, David Ellison from Skydance, promised him $20 million worth of pro-Trump ads on CBS.
Basically a donation of free airtime as part of the merger. Now, Paramount denies this. We have to say that.
They deny it completely. But when you look at the entire sequence of events, it's hard not to wonder what was really said behind closed doors.
With Colbert leaving and the FCC cracking down, late night, as we've known it for 50 years, might just be over.
So where does that conversation go if they can't joke about politics on TV anymore?
They'll probably go to YouTube or podcasts.
Which creates a split. The public airwaves become this sanitized, safe space, while all the real debate and dissent happens on the internet.
For now. Until they decide to regulate the internet, too.
Don't miss out on our next episode where we're going to break down the new hosts that might be taking over these slots. Subscribe now to stay in the loop.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.